review video about the upcoming patch. So this is a new type of video. Let me know if you guys like this kind of content. I've never done it before, but if you guys like it, I can do it more. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some core changes to the standard sets um, and how it's going to affect those settings. So primarily, I'll focus on, I think, low times on this video, and maybe I'll do a different video for high times. But let's look through it. I think the main changes are going to be that, let's see. Um, let's see, is this low times? First turn advantage, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Whisper Arrow not being available turn one. I don't think this is a good move in many cases anyways, unless you have a straight rush book. So doesn't really matter. Comet shards are evenly spaced. Will behave differently when contacting someone in flight. Is this supposed to be a comet nerf? I don't know. If an overlight minion had a shield in the same attack as it would turn undead, doesn't matter. Max minions. This actually affected me in one game, but it doesn't matter. You can detail water, doesn't matter. Snowball changed to deal more damage to the caster at close range. Okay, so like less stuffing. That does affect it, but I know Blood Bank's getting nerfed. So I think with Blood Bank being nerfed, the Snowball Blood Bank combo isn't going to be as effective because I'm not sure if you're going to be able to out heal someone with just straight drain and like Forest Seed. And if you can't out heal them, then and if you lose those close up basically skirmishes, particularly if basically yeah, if you lose those skirmishes, you can't take Bank. And Bank has 20 HP now too, so a little bit less healing, a little more vulnerable, especially to something like, maybe like a Skyray that's the Bank's a little bit out of range, but then the Skyray kind of hits it. Right now, it might leave it alive, but like at 20 HP, more things can kill it. Collision Course 5-turn cooldown. That's weird. I don't think you need this. I don't know who suggested this, but it doesn't make sense. Wormhole and Abduction. Swap places. So, Wormhole level 1, I don't think is going to be good in low times. Might be interesting in high times though. So, I used to use it in a troll book in high times. So it might have some viability there, potentially. Shooting stars is random. I don't think it needs to be random. I think whoever pushed for that is just, maybe they got upset in a game or something. What the hell is the point of making this shit random? And in high times, it's not really a viable spell to take. So this is just a dead slot at this point. So I don't think this is smart. I don't know who advocated for this, but it's pretty idiotic. Bombs, don't care. Now, Phantom was changed. And I think it's getting a little more health now too. I'm not actually sure. But so I use Phantom to win I think it was season 18 Alien World Low Times tournament. And I would use it really for like people that would hide or very early on and just try to play survival, just try to stack pots. I don't think this change affects that type of gameplay, particularly if they basically the HP's increased. And it's because what happens is someone just kind of like TPs away. Let's say on Alien World you're playing, which is not really the meta right now, but let's say so. On a map like that, then what happens is that basically you can summon that Phantom. They try to aura it, Skyray it, something like that. But if they're far away, then you can kind of get on their land, maybe water ball in their terrain or something. Then yeah, I think you can still chip away at their prot, and that's really like all you need to do. Just like one good chip on their prot, and like keep waterballing towards them. Um, but yeah, the way I used it isn't really nerfed. I don't think this nerf makes a whole lot of sense. Um, Autumn leaves doesn't matter. Morning sun, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Mech arrow, okay. If you activate your familiar, so if Mech arrow won't detonate on the first turn, what does it do? Does it just kind of go infinitely? Because that might actually buff it for low times, unless the damage just really falls off. Um, but in some scenarios, that might be cool. Now 7 seconds. Okay, this is probably the biggest one. The 8 seconds is now 7 seconds. I think this is gonna make a few spells more viable and a few spells less. One, this is like a big hit to Swarm. I think 110 pushed this change. Maybe he got annoyed with my Swarm gameplay or something. I don't know. But this does hit Swarm. At the same time, though, I'm still going to take Swarm in sevens. Um, and I also know that the spell bar staying up um, basically is going through, which does add more time back. I think probably you're talking like an extra second back. So I don't think this does too much, to be honest. Especially if you're playing like flighted gameplay. This is a big hit to like if you're trying to do a flightless mix in sevens. Your advantage is less now than I think was before. Some spells also are going to be stronger and some spells are going to be weaker. So you have like Mech Arrow is going to be weaker because it takes a while to charge up. I think some spells like Deluge, Frost Arrow, because Frost Arrow can go pretty far without you charging it up too much. Those spells are going to be see more gameplay. Now that Bank's getting nerfed, a lot of spells are just straight gone, or books are straight going to be like gone. But just think in the terms of that, like okay, what's very like point and click, very low effort type of spells. I'm still gonna take Swarm myself because I'm a little crazy, but when you're designing your books, think Skyray, Deluge, Frost Arrow maybe over potentially Clock. Maybe take out even like a Mega Boulder or something. You have a few options. I like to keep Mega in there definitely, but something like Clock is going to be weaker because you have less time to charge it up. These type of little like nuanced details can shift the meta a little bit. Um, let's see. Full nature portal is not always after every other effector on the start of the turn. Um, so does this affect like the way aura interacts with like portal? So instead is inserted into each player's list so that whichever effector was created first will be activated first. So if they aura first and then you portal, the aura gets ticked and then they go through. And then if they portal and then you aura, you go through. Something like some bullshit like that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see how it actually works because I might be getting this description wrong. In terms of spells, okay, so I think that's really it. There's nothing else that's like. It says one more thing. It was like turn ending will use at least 2 seconds. I think that's fair. Because before it was like a part of the skill ceiling where you can get a flash off, maybe sync yourself, and then also TP back up. That was a thing. Now it's just very, like it doesn't matter if you do it at 1 second or 4 seconds. It just doesn't matter. Okay, so in terms of spells, I think a few spells are going to be like viable. I think Spear, or they're calling it Javelin now. Javelin. That's definitely going to be nice. Leap and Ferocious Strike. They haven't changed this. And let me comment on this for a second. Yes, I did push for Leap to be level 1. I know like some high times players bitch about it a lot, but there's a really good reason for this. And a lot of like flightless low times books, Leap can be pretty nice for having non-flighted books. And when you look at its power disparity, especially compared to something like Glide, um, there's really no reason it shouldn't be a level 1 compared to Glide. The problematic state of it comes with like a rush book in high times where they take leap, they take flight, they take glide, they take BFTP. If you have any one of those spells missing, then it's problematic. And this is something I've told Pure. I think he really should listen to this. He needs to start restricting, especially he's adding more books and more books, more spells. He needs to start restricting overlapping spells. So, like taking leap, glide, and flight, like you gotta classify these spells as mobility and be like, hey, at least give them a shared cooldown or something. Otherwise you're gonna have very lopsided, greedy books that just create bad games, depending on like turn advantage and map gen and all this other shit. So yeah, I think a viable book for next patch might look something like this if you're considering a book to take. I think these are still pretty core. Aura, the lower the time is, I think the better Aura is. But I also think taking out Mech Arrow could be fine. I think this is a pretty cool book if you want to take something like this. I like to take Swarm. You don't have to. And it's not easy to take Swarm. Swarm, a lot of micro, a lot of thinking. It's not the easiest spell to take, so you don't have to take that. But if you don't take that, this would probably be your generic like 7 grassy mix. You could, actually no, this wouldn't be because you don't have tower. So you'd have to take tower and then you'd have to take something like this. So this would be probably like a good 7 grassy mix. Personally, if you want to get very spicy with it, you can take Swarm. And really like Aura, the thing about Aura is it can be used against you. It's just one of those spells that against a really good player, they know how to play around it. They know how to use it against you. You might chip them for 15 damage, but like, it's good for closing too, though, I will say, when you're in like a winning position. But I do think Swarm is better. Like if you look at the maximum type of, highest rank type of gameplay possible, I think Swarm can be better, but it's also like a playstyle thing. It's how you open. It's a lot of things. But yeah, this is a book I like a lot going into the next patch. Now you can spice it up. You can try to take some of these new spells. So maybe the Haviland instead of the arrow there, and then you can take maybe like a mech arrow here. I think this is also a really interesting and probably very viable book. This is a little weak, I guess, to aura and stuff. It disappears. Swarm would be really good against this, just because you have this moving unit and you can just go and if they have any laying around the map, you can go tick them off and force them to use a turn to kill your Swarm. But yeah, I think this is probably a pretty cool book. Also, this could be a very viable book. Essentially, you want to win top. Deluge is good because if you're both like on the map, let's say one guy's here, one guy's there, and he's like towered up, you can just deluge him, and now he's vulnerable. Otherwise, you'd have to be lobbing drains, or you'd have to make your way to him to detower him, and it's probably going to end in a draw. So yeah, I think those are probably the best books for like your typical AG game. Unfortunately, Flightless looks like it's gutted, so RIP. But let me see, because on Grassy for sure it's gutted. For non-grassy maps, I'm not so sure actually if a Flightless mix can work. There's just nothing that comes to mind. Like they're nerfing this, which is very useless. Doesn't make any sense at all to me. Yeah, maybe like a meteor mix or something. Definitely probably want to do like meteor or comet mix or something. Also, I don't know if this is becoming level 1. I didn't read anything that said it would be level 1. But Mac Air is also a cool spell. Though I don't think it's completely optimal against a lot of matchups. But yeah, this is the low times review. If you like this, you want to see like a high times review, let me know. I don't really talk in Discord or on the Arcanists Discord and stuff, so some people were asking me my thoughts, so I just thought I'd make a quick video. Um, yeah, enjoy. Good luck.